Hello, hello. Today the markets are down, and let's see how they behave. This is the last trading day of the week, and it has been a tough week. Uh, Let me review what's going on here. Do the daily routine to be able to look at it the most objectively possible, and then we can continue and see how we look. So the first thing we're going to do today is take a look of how Asia is performing. So let me remove the picture. So you can see here, Asia is not doing very well, right? Negative across the board. Not huge, but negative, right? Europe as well. We have a market below one, that is the DAX, right? Spanish IBEX 35 is 1.33 down. And then in the Americas, it's interesting. Sometimes we get data from Mexico, other days we don't get data from Mexico here. But across the board, US down and Canada down, Brazil down. Let me share the link for the daily routine. Hello. So the link for the daily routine, this is a good idea. I can put it here in the chat and then copy this and go to Discord, and I can share the link on the Discord page. And I go to chat. This is daily life. We could go in the YouTube and share it there. The daily routine link is on the chat here. And I have added some new links that you might enjoy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is how to get into the Discord, right? And if you want to have a talk with me and so on. First thing, this is the economic calendar. We could put that on. Economic calendar, Friday, 3 a.m., 7 a.m. This is the late consensus because of the government's shutdown. So now the government, what is many people in Twitter are looking at alternative data for jobs, cost, employment situation, international trade, and so on. Yeah, it's becoming popular. It's a good marketing brand for these entities as well. So this is delayed, and then nothing much more, right? The next picture is the daily indexes, the mainly daily indices. Now we can see the box here with the USA S&P 500 taking hit more than the Eurozone, more than the UK, more than China, a little less than Japan. You can see Japan is in the last 3 months it's about 25, 26%. The question though that we have here is, hey, is this low going to be respected from the S&P 500? This is the low of the second week of October, right? Second week of October. We'll review that in detail in the next picture. This is the low that I was mentioning. Is it going to be respected? Month to date, we are down 1.5. Quarter, we are down. We are having two negative candles, one after the other, right? This is important to take into consideration. And yeah, the line with the P ratio now is trending lower, faster than the speed of the S&P 500. Will it match? Yes, they will match at some point, right? Well, we don't know if it's going to match higher or lower that current price. This is a sell. We are having days below -1. So from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, from the 7 days, last 6 days, okay, 6 days, 3 down quite a bit to -1, and 3 up, barely moving up, right? Now it's very easy to say it, to tell, but it was not like that a few days ago. This is one of the new charts that I have added. I think it can help us measure the strength of both NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. So, you know, like we have the market internals and we can see the market internals live, how the money is moving inside of these exchanges. So now I had highlighted, this is, remember, this is new highs and new lows, right? So in the S&P, in the NASDAQ, there are, I don't know how many companies are now listed in the NASDAQ and in the S&P. 1,000? No, more, 1,000, 1,300? Let me see if Perplexity, no. Perplexity, can I do this? Allow. How many companies are listed in NASDAQ? And how many companies are listed in the New York Stock Exchange? $4,000 companies on NASDAQ and 2,500 in New York Stock Exchange. So we can see this. New highs and new lows. I thought they were less. I don't trust AI 100%, okay? But this is what we had here. 800 at this point. So let me highlight what these bars mean. This bar meant that day, about 100 companies were making highs, new highs, right? New highs, intraday, intramonth, whatever, new highs, right? Oh, intraday, new highs, right? This day, yesterday, and we have the value here, 65 companies made new lows. From the NASDAQ, about 200 companies, right, made new lows. Of course, when the day is positive, we have normally positive tendency. And when the day is negative, we have negative tendency. These are new highs and new lows for the day, right? I have to double check. I have to double check something here. The other question or the other chart I have added is the VIX futures. So you know, or if you don't know, I'll tell you. If we are under 20, fine, right? If we are below 15, right, is too low, right? We had then periods below 15, clearly, but it's low, right? When we are about 35 or higher than 35, right, these are daily closes, right? In the front month, we have to watch, right? It's highest spike in volatility, right? This is the front month, right? Notice that. Then we have M1, M2 minus M1, and the same with M3 minus M2. What this is going to tell me, or what this is telling me, it's are we in backwardation or not, right? If you want me to go through this, I can go through this if it's clear. It's clear. Gold in the next chart is gold used to be a 64, 65. Now it's 50. Crude used to be minus 16. Now it's 15. Consumer staple turned negative. Materials turned negative. Energy, it was at 1.4, at 4. Now it's at 3. Right? S&P 500 utilities, 16%. S&P 500 composite, 14%. This is the same as this, right? 14.26, yes. Right. I mean, this is still a very strong year. We have a month of 20 days, probably. Still a very good year. But these past 2 weeks has not been great for the bulls at all. Let me write this down. Now it will work. Where do we have here? Equity and bonds. Still similar picture than yesterday. And here you remember it was an issue with the oil. I fixed it. I had a different product in oil that it was not adequate. It worked, but not in a daily basis. Different closing times, different currencies. Too complicated. I changed it for crude oil trading, WTI, and it's simple. So now it will match the futures of crude oil here. What do we have here? And this is, remember, this is what trade ideas come. Weakness in oil, right? I added the dollar index. I changed the currency for the pair, so now it's clear what it's dividing what, right? The euro is about 11% year to date, but it has been in range, you see, versus the dollar, right? It has been in range for some time. Look, the last 90 days is -1. I have added the dollar index as well here. See the dollar, how it has lost 8% versus a basket of currencies. I had other dollar index from Citibank. Now it's the dollar index. Easier to follow for me. Emerging markets, MSCI World, S&P. So the last 14 days is positive. Maybe I should use this. In the last 14 days is positive, but in the last 2 days, not at all. Gold also about flat for the last month. Flat for the last month. Yeah, you know that gold went higher and then came down, and now we are holding here. But for the last month, we are flat, right? So how can you be very bearish if in the last month is flat and in the last 90 days is 20%? Oh, okay. You want to pick the top? Try. Okay. It's like yesterday trying to pick the bottom, trying to pick the bottom. It's complex. It's too complex. Because there's only going to be one button for the rest of the week. Okay, today is Friday, right? But I will explain that with the charts. And then we close this. So no need in that. Let's go to the real-time data, real-time charts, 50 minutes to the open. And let's go. First, we start with S&P 500. Remember the triangle that we draw yesterday? So now it closed below, and now we have to be looking for continuation to the downtrend. Right? This is clear. Continuation for the downtrend. So I'm not going to put this trend line like that. I'm going to keep it there. This is accelerating, but I'm going to make it longer. But this is the trend line. So if we don't close above this trend line, why you want to look for longs, right? Are we looking for shorts? My system said something different. We are back into this area of consolidation where we bounced last time. Now it's probably going to look untested if we don't get a catalyst in the other direction. So far, in today's news, from the last 24 hours, let's wait while that loads. We did not, right? Bitcoin, here you have -9%. Can you see it here? -9% in the last 5 trading days. 0.4 in the last, since the last close, right? I keep clicking the price. Maybe I should remove it. Bitcoin. It will show up. And ish didn't. It's getting there, right? Trend line. The euro is getting stronger. You remember we mentioned, hey, it's breaking this trend line. Let's see what happens when it gets here. If it doesn't get here, well, wait. Crude is positive for today. Tested below this gap. You remember it was news about piracy. I didn't I didn't check that news anymore. So today we have Elon Musk approved for $1 trillion. We mentioned that yesterday. China exports suffer worst downturn since February as tariffs hammer US demand. The same story. Elon 1 trillion pay plan wins shareholder approval. This is the same story. So here, US Supremacy Court allows Trump passport policy targeting transgender people. I didn't read much about this. Stock market frenzy's louder echo of the 90s. Kremlin puppets. Look oil assets, US call. Meta. This is what we mentioned about yesterday. And we lost the opportunity to short. I thought I had a bigger trade on the ES than on Meta, but private reports suggest US labor markets weakened in October. And this is what we say, like people is looking for alternative reports which are valid, but the official one we don't have. So all over Twitter is this thing, or X, all over X is this. This is also important. Airlines are cutting flights, right? China begin limited purchases of US farm goods after they met. What was this? So it was yesterday, 11, a day ago. 4% flight. Yesterday I read about 10%. 1 trillion stock market frenzy. Let's go to the companies in the US. I'm sorry. US to block Nvidia sale of scale down AI chips to China. And here the same notice we have from the FT saying that Jensen said China is going to win the AI race. I don't know what he means with that, but I don't even know where can you compete to win the race. But it's here in the front page. Google building AI data center in Australia. So nothing that can spark change in sentiment from the news. So we went through the ES. Let me go clearly again. The negative pressure is there, and we're going to see it, and most likely it's not going to disappear until we take yesterday's high. So let me duplicate this, move it to here, activate, change color to green, to dash. If we don't trade over this, longs are loans are not in control, right? They are not in control. We had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 consecutive days, except one, this one, of negative price action. This is about at 3.6% from the high. Can it turn into a 5? To be able to turn into a 5, we need to go here, right? About here. Can I turn to a 10? Minus 10. We need to go to this line here, September low. Of course, 5 minutes to the open. 5 minutes to the open. Let's launch all the trading platforms that you have. What are you using? Thinkorswim, Ninja Trader. What else? Trade Station, Interactive Brokers. Oh, TradeZilla. That's not a trading platform. Webull, Swab, Thinkorswim. And launching mine, I have Ninja Trader open as well. Gold, positive. Look at this consolidation here, similar than yesterday. It's time to remove coffee because I'm not getting data here. NQ down. Silver. Oh, this is the 2-to-1 ratio we mentioned. Duplicate. So here is, if we enter now, we have here 1 and 2. After we have fell to close here, or maybe it closed, right? This was an exit. So now here again we have duplicate. We move here. We could say this 2-to-1 risk reward. 2-to-1 risk reward. 327. The market is about to open. What else do we have? Market is about to open. We have the YM0 is holding better. The Dow Jones, it is holding better. And if we look for the overnight on the ES, we're going to open below yesterday. What can we do? Continuation. There is no low to test, right? Can we go like this and test this zone? Yes. And then to the downside. Or can we go here and trade higher? Yes. If the internals are positive, this is the first choice. If the internals are negative, expect maybe a bounce. And this is the second choice, a bounce to enter. I mean, you don't want to short the low, right? This is the low of the week. This is the low of today. You can easily retrace the overnight price action. Um, 2 more minutes to open. Here we are saying some significant selling. Let me open emails. This is a new tool from Interact from Ninja Trader. And we're looking for new lows. We are trading at new lows, right? New low, you can see here. And we can load here, new low. The internals are weak. Money exiting New York Stock Exchange, money exiting NASDAQ. All the indexes, except real estate and utilities, are down from the open to today to now. The first minute ticks are minus 300. I can say weak. Let's see if it start improving. The first thing what we need to see is exactly this: Infotech turning positive. That will be the first step. And Microsoft, we have the gap down from Nvidia, the sell of Apple, gap down of Tesla, gap down of Meta, gap down of Google. So the only one is Microsoft. Um, new trade. These stocks are down. Only Microsoft is up. Remember, today is Friday, so don't ruin if you got profits for the week. Just don't ruin it, right? Pressing down sectors on consumers, consumer utilities and consumer staples. Consumer communication. Sorry, communication, utilities and consumer staples. Yes, 67. or short. So let's see. This is what we have. Are you there? Hello? Someone looking at this? Let me double check. So the question here is very simple. Is this short-term low at 940, 939 going to hold with negative internals like this? Not sure, not sure. Market internals not getting. Okay, this is improving. The big companies. You can see here better. Apple flat, Microsoft flat. Flat, I mean in the trend line here. Neutral, 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 neutral. You see. We're double testing this. So now technically we did a higher low. We failed to trail below this, right? We failed to trade above this. Waiting. See if it has a third attempt here. Or if it goes to the lows. Neutral down, Tesla. Up, Broadcom. Neutral down, Amazon. Trade signal positive. Let me see. In the ES. So two attempts to trade lower, it did not. Now it's going to take this high. The question is for how long? Trend line here improving. Companies improving. Neutral up, up, up. neutral, 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 up. Market internals. Neutral, 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 neutral. Going up. We printed this low. Market intel are negative. Health infotech is improving. Neutral, 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 neutral. Up, down. Microsoft.